What's up YouTube, Capital G here, looking at this new amazing new continuous trap card coming out of Maximum Crisis called Dinomist Howling. This card is absolutely fantastic. I'm going to go ahead and read it first, and then I'll explain all the reasons why this card is staple and amazing for the Dinomist archetype. So, continuous trap card, it says, when this card is activated, you can place up to 2 Dinomist Pendulum monsters from your deck into your Pendulum zones, and if you do, you cannot Pendulum summon until the end of the next turn, except Dinomist monsters. Once per turn, if this card is already face up, you can tribute 1 Dinomist monster, then target 1 card on your opponent's field, or excuse me, 1 card your opponent controls, and then return that card to the hand. Okay, so for starters, the first thing that is obvious about this is that it is a 1-card Pendulum Scale, and let's be real, if you've looked at things like Monkey Board or Cleaford Scout on the ban list, 1-card scales are pretty damn good in Yu-Gi-Oh! I don't even care that this card is a trap, which honestly, it kind of works the fact that it's a trap, because if you know anything about Dinomist, you know that your Pendulum monsters actually give you protection. Like, they give your other Dinomist cards on the field protection from the 3s give you protection from destruction, battle, or like card effects, and the 6s give you protection from, like, you know, targeting. So it's like playing scales on your opponent's turn actually is a benefit, because then you get protection, and it's like, oh crap, they may not have planned for that. They're thinking, oh, you don't have any skills, I can just go ahead and wreck you. It's like, maybe not quite. And then the second thing is huge, because like one of the real issues with Dinomist is the deck has no fucking removal. It's one of the reasons why I don't think Dinomist ever really saw any plays, because they just don't have enough ways of getting cards off the field. Like, Dinomist Rex is like their best removal card, and he's a high level monster that requires a tribute. You know, a deck like Cleaford, like, how many removal cards does Cleaford have? Like, they have Stealth, they have Helix, they have Carrier. Like, they have so many ways of just getting cards off your board, bouncing them, popping them, and doing all types of things, you know, putting them back in your hand or whatever. Dinomist don't have any of that, and now all of a sudden they have a way every single turn of just, you know, tributing a monster and just getting a card, whether it be a back row, an extra deck monster. It's like good because it acts as an offensive card of getting your skill set up, and then at the same time it's a defensive card. It also helps them with the Pendulum Summon, because Dinomists don't really use their Pendulum Summon all that effectively. If you look at a deck like Cleaford is just like a better version of Dinomist, because it is that, you know, it's that Pendulum beatdown deck, just like Dinomist is, but at the same time, you can just tribute all your monsters, blow a bunch of shit up on your opponent's side of the field, and then just, you know, possibly either bounce stuff or summon a bunch of monsters. But basically, you tribute summon, and then you just pendulum all those monsters back and kill your opponent. Like, Dinomist doesn't have anything like that. A lot of the high level monsters in this deck, they can be special summoned. So it's not like you do a whole lot of tribute summoning in this deck. And honestly, when you do pendulum summon, it just feels risky, because you have no way of getting your opponent's back row cards off the field. There's no Helix and Stealth to like make your plays safe. So I feel like this card fixes a ton of their problems. Dinomists have always felt like, to me, a weird mix between Magispectors and Cleaford, but those decks are just better at what they do. Dinomist feels like it doesn't quite do either one quite well, because when you have double scales, then your monster kind of feels like a Magispector, and you're playing this kind of slow, grindy, beatdown pendulum deck, which kind of feels like Cleaford, but it's like it's not quite good, you know, it's not quite as good as those other two decks. So I really think that this is going to help like a lot. This is going to help an immeasurable amount. I honestly think that this card, it's probably not a 3-of, because once you have 1, I don't think the other copies have that much value. I'm thinking that this is a staple, and it's definitely at least a 2-of. I think what they should have done with Dinomist, they should have made it a contact fusion deck, because like Xing is kind of cool because you can go into Totally Awesome and Cyber Infinity. The problem is when you go into those, especially like the rank 5s, your monsters are pretty much lost forever when you detach. You can't get those level 5s back, and it couldn't have been synchro based, because obviously there's like no tuners. So like the only thing that would have really made sense was contact fusion, and they have Dinoster, which is a contact fusion. So I really don't understand why Konami didn't release a couple more fusion monsters for Dinomist and just make them contact fusion. Like, don't make the deck run poly. I think that that would have been the best way for them to like potentially get monsters, load up their extra deck, and then pendulum them back and get value out of the pendulum summon, because Dinomist don't really get value out of the pendulum summon that much. But this card's fantastic. gives them another great defensive card that also is offensively. And now if you have like a field of 3 Dinomists plus like a Solemn in this, you feel pretty damn safe because your scales will hopefully protect you from targeting and destruction. And then, you know, maybe you have like a warning for one of their extra deck monsters, and then the other card you just bounce it. And again, if your opponent just sets a bunch of back row, you can just spin their back row or bounce their back row during the end phase. So you guys let me know. I think this card 1,000,000,000% staple. I think probably during my next live stream I will be testing this. But yeah, it makes me feel a little happier about the future of Dinomist. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. Please put your opinions and comments on this card in the description. I know a lot of legacy support kind of sucks. I think this one is amazing, like no brainer, fucking amazing card. If also subscribe if you guys have not already.